Good evening and welcome back to Mona's Take. I am your host, monadrose, and we are here to talk about everything reality TV. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything I have coming up. So today we're going to talk about Big Brother live feeds the last 24 hours. I told you guys when I left off, I have no idea where the hell this week is going. I've got some clarification on a couple of things, a lot of talks going on, so stay tuned. People are acting on a whole nother level on that. So can't wait to see that karma train coming through. Choo-choo, mood of the day, really. You gotta give us more credit than that. Some people, buckle up, buttercup. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. Alright, we're gonna start where we left off. The first conversation that we see is between Terrance and Taylor. It's a very lengthy conversation. Terrance calls her into the room and asks her, why can't we work together? What is this wall that we have to get past? He said, I'm just going to lay some things out for you and see if that helps the progression to tear down that wall. He said, this wall is in my mind. That there's no way that she should get to stay over me. Talking about Alyssa. Based on a lot of things. And for one, your strongest allies, they want me to stay. They want me to be here. They just can't go against you. To say, damn, I want you, but we're outnumbered. But to know all these things we've done collectively to the point of her and Jasmine and Daniel were for the reason the votes weren't going the way it was supposed to go. She wanted you effing out of here, G. You know what the problem was? The problem was me. I wouldn't vote you out. That's why they couldn't get the votes for them to stay, because I wouldn't do that to you. He is just so out there in his thinking. I mean, we're living in fantasy land. Every single time Taylor was on the block, he went for the other person. He campaigned for the other person, no matter who it was, whether it was Nicole, whether it was Daniel. It didn't matter who she was on the block against. He was campaigning for them to stay and for Taylor to go. Let's get back to his delusion. Terrance said, Alyssa, Kyle, and Turner were all cracking jokes and laughing at you. The fact that she took the London trip from you, they were laughing and mocking you the whole time we were in the backyard. Now, can I say that I never saw that conversation take place? I never saw that conversation take place, however. We went, 4 days without feeds back there. So he can say a lot of shit happened back there. And we have no proof. Unless Big Brother plays a playback, we're not going to know what happened back there. He said, you want another black person to win this game. And can win this game. But do you think she's going to help that accomplishment? You think she's going to help get you there? He says, I know you're pissed at me and you hold grudges. And the feed's cut. I'm like, damn it, CBS. They stay off for a few seconds and then they come back on. He said, everyone else said they would vote for me. And she says, who the hell is everyone? And he says, Monty, Brittany. And she said, I'm going to tell you something. She said, I've given them ample opportunity to speak the F up and tell me what they want. And guess what? It's crickets. So if that's the case, you need to talk to them and you need them to speak the F up. He said, I don't necessarily need them to speak up. He says, they may just be giving me lip service too. If y'all think she's a better option, then so be it. But you know she's always going to be protected, and you know what I mean. This is the first time she will be on the block come eviction night. So my first thought about so far, all of a sudden, he wants to work with the culture. He wants another black winner for BB24. Where the hell was all that energy when he was trying to vote out Monty and Taylor? He didn't have that energy. He didn't give two shits about them. But now, because he needs them, and in his little pea brain mind, he thinks that Taylor's the only one holding out, and that she's doing it to be vindictive or petty, he's going to play on her heartstrings. He talks about Alyssa making fun of her. He talks about her wanting to see another black winner. He talks about her wanting to work with the culture. Everything that he knows that Taylor's about, now he's using that. When he didn't give a damn about that until now. That's my 2 cents. Terrance tells her he would put up Michael and Turner. He said he would make the move nobody else wants to make. And then he said, you know I've always had you, G. Really? Has he always had her? Hell no. This conversation pissed me off to no end. Because he's taken and trying to manipulate Taylor. And he's preying on the very things that she holds dear. And then he knows that she holds dear. What a jackass. Just saying. She said, I'm not going to lie. I have struggled with that literal choice in front of me. It is the white girl that cries all the time, or the black man who tried to get me evicted next to someone that did something racist. She said, that's been a hard pill to swallow. And, oh my God, he says, I'm not even putting that in the conversation. And she said, so you just want to move forward? He said, no, I'm just talking about what she did. No. I'm saying the stuff that happened prior shouldn't be okay for you to vote me out now. So he's saying nothing to see here, folks. Look over there. Look at this girl. Don't look at me. And as much as I don't think Alyssa deserves to win this game, she has by no means done the shit or said the shit that Terrance has about Taylor. She has been in the room when those conversations took place and didn't contribute, but didn't say anything either. The closest thing Alyssa ever said was whenever Kyle was hugging Taylor after she won the walk honk, she said, okay, that's enough. And everybody that was sitting on the sidelines heard that. Terrance has called her a bitch. He's talked about her being a hoe on a stroll. All kinds of shit. So, in my opinion, Terrance has done way more to her than Alyssa has. Yeah, I just can't help but putting my 2 cents in this conversation. I'm sorry, y'all. I guess it had me going, and this was last night, and I can feel my blood pressure going up again. This man just pisses me off to no end. And he brings the conversation right back to the trip that she stole, the London trip that she stole from you. The whole Nicole vote, the whole Daniel thing, she took up for him. She forget what I did. Look at what she did. You know, forget about everything I did. Let me point out again what all she's done. The Daniel vote, the Nicole vote, the Amira vote, all of that. Alyssa was a vote. She was told what to do, and that's what she did. She did not actively campaign for any of those. Terrance, however, did. He said, we've got moves we can make, and they have moves they can make collectively. It's just who's going to make the moves and who's going to be more aggressive about making them. He says, we have more irons in the fire for HOH than they do. So what he's proposing at this moment is for him, Monty, and Taylor to team up against Michael, Turner, and Brittany. So he's wanting to do the very thing that Kyle was wanting to do. And he is wanting to split the house based on race. I don't find what Kyle did and what he's doing any different. I think it's a Hail Mary for him. I think he's a jackass for using it. I hate to see the split like this. With the cookout, it was different with the cookout. They didn't go in saying, we're going to vote out all the white people. We're going to stick together and vote out all the white people. They didn't do it vindictively. What he is proposing and the way he is proposing it, to me, comes across very offensive. And at this point, I honestly don't find him any better than Kyle. And that's my personal opinion. And I know that I'm probably going to get all kinds of hell for that statement. But this is my opinion. My show, my opinion. You are welcome to try to persuade me or to make me see things differently, because that has happened in the past. But this is my opinion at this moment. He's proposing him, Monty, and Taylor, and he's going to bring in Turner and Brittany so that they have 5. Number one, you have 7 people in the house. You're not going to make a 5-person alliance. Not this late in the game. Maybe earlier, yeah. But this late in the game, people are not. They already know which path they're taking. You're not going to make a 5-person alliance that's only going to last 2 weeks. That's how clever he is. He said that would give us 3 against 2 for the HOH, and we could make our move. So he's saying we're going to bring these 2 in to help us, but it's going to be me and you and Monty against those 2. That's a hell of an alliance, isn't it? Taylor says, I think we all want the same thing. She said, you telling me that she's been lying to me since she walked back in those doors? And he said, I don't have to lie to you. I don't even have to have this conversation with you. But because I care about you, and I know we've done some effed up shit, but I'm not going to lie to you about this. And the reason I don't think Alyssa even said that is because she was scared after she did it. She beat herself up for a couple of weeks after she did that, how stupid of a move it was. And she was really afraid that it was going to backfire and bite her in the ass. So I don't think she did that. He said that he's had so much anger since Direfest, and he wished Joseph was still here. And then he goes on to tell her that Joseph liked playing double agent. Said he was in 2 beds. He was in Amira's bed and voted her out. And then he was in Taylor's. So he's basically reminding her again, saying that Joseph threw her into the bus. Like I said, he's playing on the things that he knows will get to her. And then he says that he should have gotten Alyssa out instead of Joseph. Last week it was he should have got Kyle out instead of Joseph. He's still playing up the fact that he wasn't in an alliance, that coming back into the house, it was just, they had an agreement that they would keep him safe for 1 week, and that's all it was 1 week. He's so full of it. And now he's taking up for Brittany. Y'all, I can't make this stuff up. He's been going on and on ever since the stuff with Kyle about how sorry Michael and Brittany were, and that they were even worse than Kyle was, and all this crap. But now he's taking up for Brittany. He's taking up for Brittany, saying it was all Michael, and that she just heard a little bit, and it was way later that she heard stuff. That Michael was the first one to hear all of this stuff weeks ago, and that he's the one that brought it out. And then Taylor says, and I'm thinking the whole time, please don't let her believe this. Please, for God's sakes, don't let her believe this man. They get through talking. She goes out of the room. She's laying on her bed. He comes out. And she says, you know the saying, ignorance is bliss. And he said, yeah. And she said, damn, I was sleeping good. Like, he is mind screwing her so bad. It's hard to watch. It was very frustrating. It's even hard for me to read again. And I really thought she was falling for it at this point. She said, okay, Michael wins veto, so who goes, or she pulls him back into the room after that. And she said, okay, Michael wins veto, who goes up? And he says, I'm going to need your help with that. And she said, so you'd put me up? And he said, no, I'm not putting you on the block. He said, this back and forth has to stop. Do you hear me? This has to stop. All dramatic. He said, we have 3 pieces we don't need. So, he's talking about Monty, Brittany, and Turner at this point. So he says Brittany would go up. So he needs Monty to stay, but he's telling her that it's going to be him and her to the end. I was so sick to my stomach watching this and watching him play on her heart and her mind. And I was like, where the hell was this energy when he wanted her out? He tells her, they did it with 6, talking about the cookout. We're going to do it with 3. And then the feed's cut away from them. Goes to Alyssa and Turner talking in the bedroom. Turner tells Alyssa what Brittany's been saying and that she's playing everybody. She's going back and forth, telling different people different stuff. Alyssa tells Turner everything Britt said to her. They compare notes. Turner said, I can't stand to hear her voice right now. Alyssa said she has to go. And Turner said, yeah, if I get HOH, she's going on the block. Turner tells Monty about their conversation, and Monty said, damn, she's playing hard. And Brittany is. I honestly, other than the fact, after watching tonight's episode, because I've been trying to figure out what's going on with Brittany, but after watching tonight's episode, I think it was the fact that she tried to get Michael to put up Monty or Turner, and he wouldn't do it. And I think that was the first time since they've been working together that they haven't come up with a plan together. So I think maybe she felt like Michael wasn't taking her as seriously anymore, and that's why she's lost her damn mind. I don't know. It's a thought. It's a theory. And then Terrance talks to Monty. He says, I just broke it down for her, talking about Taylor. And I told her, why are you working against me? You got to knock this the F off. Which is not what he said. He said, I told her Alyssa was playing the sympathy card, and she's playing all y'all. He tells Monty some of the convo that he had with Taylor. He twists some of it, but then he tells him some of the true stuff that he said. He said, Alyssa's been protected from day one. That's the second time he said that. I don't understand why, because Alyssa really hasn't been protected since day one. She's just gotten very lucky that the rest of her alliance people made bigger targets of themselves than she did. He tells Monty, he said, if they're playing this card, he said, if they're playing this card that they introduced to the game, like, F it, I'm going to play with it too. Like, you going to vote out a black man? He said, they didn't want us to all work together, but they thought we were, and now what if we really were? He said, they thought the POCs were working together. And Terrance is the one that came after Monty and Taylor. They didn't go after Terrance. I just got to the point where I can't watch this damn fool anymore. I had to turn it off. I watched a different feed, turned the computer off for a while, decompressed, and went back to it. I cannot listen to this man's bullshit one more moment. Turner talks to Taylor and fills Taylor in on his and Brittany's conversation. Taylor was surprised. Kind of, Monty had filled her in a little bit. She's still surprised that this is the route that Brittany is taking. And then the next conversation we see, Brittany goes upstairs to the HOH room to get something from Michael. And she tells Michael that Terrance hasn't pitched to her at all. And he said, well, that's funny because he's pitching to everybody else because they've been up here telling me his pitches. And she said, well, I wonder why he's not pitching to me. She said, he just told me that he was resigned to the fact that he was going home. Now, he did pull the sad, I'm so sad, trying to play on Brittany's heartstrings. But he never asked her to change her vote. And she said, well, why do you think he's not pitching to me? And Michael said, probably because he doesn't think he could get you. And all he needs is 3, so he doesn't need you. And she said, I just felt sad for him because he just knows he's going home. And Michael said he pitched to Monty and that he thinks Terrance is trying to get everybody but her. And I had to go back and watch the conversation because I saw him talking to Brittany, but at that point I was so tired of this man's voice, I skipped over the whole conversation. I was like, whatever the hell happens, happens. But I thought for sure he was pitching to Brittany. So I went back and watched it just to see if she was lying. And she wasn't. He did not pitch to her. But Michael asked her about her conversation with Turner. She completely lied about that conversation. And Michael's like, okay, he's taking notes. And Brittany walks out. And this is how I know Michael is just about done with her. As soon as Brittany walks out and the door shuts, he says, well, that was effing awkward. And goes about doing whatever he was doing. But you could see that he was upset. Brittany talks to the cameras for a little bit. I didn't watch very much of it. But I did catch her saying that she thinks she's overplayed this week and that she needs to cool it, that she doesn't know why she gets so paranoid, but that she hopes she didn't hurt her game. And she did. Brittany checks in with Taylor, and Taylor tells Brittany what Terrance told her, and Brittany said, are you kidding me? He didn't even pitch to me. He's telling Taylor the whole time, your best ally over here says that she wants to keep me, but she's not going to go against your wishes. Well, Brittany's the only other she on the voting block. So Brittany was like, are you kidding me? He didn't even pitch to me. So I guess he just wanted to make it look like he did, because then he told me that you really wanted me to stay, but that you wouldn't go against my wishes. And she's like, no, I never said that. And she didn't. But because she's throwing everybody else under the bus this week, they don't know when to believe her. Taylor still believes that Monty and Turner are not working together. Alyssa has said that they're working together because Kyle told her. Brittany has told Taylor over and over and told Michael over and over, and they don't believe them. They're like, no, they're not working together. Taylor said, they're not locked in like that. Okay, Brittany said, okay, I hope you're right, but my gut feeling tells me that they're working together. Terrance tells Turner he was trying to make peace with that girl. I don't understand how people can be so mad over things that aren't things to be mad at anymore. And I'm thinking, you sound like you have Taylor's back right now. Like, yeah, I did that to you. I stabbed you in the back, but that was last week. This was this week. Don't look back there. Terrance told Monty that Taylor is pitching an all-black alliance and that she's all in. And they start comparing notes, and she's like, no, no. She's like, he proposed that to me. And so they start talking about the conversations that they both had with him. They start comparing notes, and they find out that he's lying. And I'm so relieved that Taylor did not buy his bullshit, because I actually thought she's a good actress. Because she had me believing that she was believing every moment of it. So everyone's finally turning into bed. And this is the conversation, I think, that sheds a little bit of light on what's going on with Michael and Brittany. Michael starts talking to the life leaders. He says, Brittany is running around to everyone when she really doesn't have to. Honestly, she doesn't. He says, Brittany is still my number one, and I've still got her back. But, and it's a big but, she's not doing herself any favors, and if she's a sinking ship, I'm not going down with her. He says, Plan A is to win the veto next week. He says, not a good plan, granted, but still a plan. He said, I'll sure try. He said he needs to have conversations tomorrow. He says, hopefully with Monty and Taylor. He said, one of the reasons he needs Terrance out is because he's someone everyone would love to sit next to in the finale. So I need to eliminate that option for everybody else. Because if I'm on the block next to Terrance, I'm going home, no questions. I think if Michael's on the block next to anyone, he's going home, no questions asked. I don't know why he would think Terrance would be any different than any of the other 6 house guests or 5 house guests. He says, if Terrance wins, he's going to put me up. And if I'm on the block, no way he votes to keep me. He says, having Terrance here does nothing for my game, except maybe he's easy to beat in the comps. He says, I don't want to have to win my way to the end, but here I am. He says, Brittany is drawing the heat to herself. Maybe I have one more week. Maybe someone will think, okay, let's let him slide one more week and get Brittany out. I don't actually see that happening, because all the conversations that I've seen this week, everybody's annoyed at Brittany for going rogue, but they all say she's not a comp threat. That they're not worried about keeping her in the game. That, yeah, she's being a little messy, but everybody knows she's being messy, so there's no sense in sending her home. So that ended the feats for last night. First thing this morning, Terrance is seen talking to Taylor in the kitchen. And this fool actually thinks he's staying. He thinks he's actually had this big plan that's going to come into action. He thought he had a big plan to go, and it failed. He thought he had a big plan with Daniel, and it failed. All of his big plans that he thinks he has never come about. So why in the hell does he think this one's any different? But he does. He's seen talking to Taylor this morning. I've talked to Monty and Turner. They're all in. Everything's a go. I'll be staying. Alyssa will be going home. Bye-bye, Alyssa. Oh, he actually thinks he's done it. Michael, Turner, and Monty talk. And Monty fills in Turner on Terrance's plan to stay this week. Turner asks, if we win tomorrow, who should we put up? And Monty said that if he wins, he's going to put up Brittany and Alyssa. Turner said he would put up Brittany and Taylor. Michael said, obviously Brittany is doing way too much, but I don't see her as a competition threat. He said, Alyssa isn't doing much, but I view her as a jury threat. He said, between the 3, Taylor is the biggest competition threat, but I'm confident the 3 of us can beat her. And Monty said, yeah, the bottom line is as long as the girls don't put 2 of us up on the block, we're safe next week, because we have the votes to stay. They're all worried about the worst case scenario, and to them, it's if Brittany gets HOH. And Monty said he would have been good with that had she not lost her mind this week. And they all agree that going forward, this is what they're going to do. Now, I've had people asking me today, what in the hell is going on between Monty and Turner, and why they're working with Michael. I don't think they're necessarily working with Michael. I think they're covering their ass in case he wins the veto and the double. Because then he can turn around and win the HOH again. If that's the case, they want to make sure they don't go up. Now, if the opportunity arises to vote him out during the double, both of them are going to jump at it in a heartbeat. They've already said that. So I think it's one of those things keeping Michael close to them in case he does win again, that they're safe and Michael will go after the girls. I don't know if that logic is going to play out for them, but if anyone thinks that they're actually all in and all going to work together on this, that's not happening. Michael probably wishes that that would happen, and he probably hopes that will. But there's no way that Monty and Turner keep him in the game if they give the chance, if given the chance to get him out. That's your last 24 hours of the BB house. I'm a little bit more clear, and I think that Michael will still have Brittany's back, even though she's gone rogue. I don't think that Turner and Monty are 100% working with Michael. I feel like they're keeping him close, like I said. I don't think Alyssa has a plan. Alyssa's going to go with whatever keeps her in the house week by week. Terrance is going home. I'm almost 99% sure of it, that Terrance will be the one leaving the house tomorrow night. The first one anyway. The double is a toss-up. It all depends on who gets that first HOH. What the top 5 are going to look like. If Michael doesn't win, I see him going out. Other than that, I see maybe Alyssa going, depending on how the cards fall. I don't think Taylor's in jeopardy at all. I don't think Monty's in jeopardy at all. And I don't think Turner's in jeopardy at all. So that's where I stand right now. We will see tomorrow night when we watch the show together. Don't forget, 10:15 tomorrow night, I'm going live after the double eviction. And we can talk about the double eviction and everything that's happened up until this point. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. Have a great night. Eviction day tomorrow. See you guys all there. And as always, much love.